Plenary session of the Commission on Appointments of the first regular session of the 19th Congress is hereby called to order. Senator Estrada is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished members of the Commission on Appointments, this representation as Chairman of the Committee on Foreign Affairs presided over a public hearing this morning to consider and deliberate on the nomination of Mylene Garcia-Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary and emoluments of a Chief of Mission Class 1. Your committee, after deliberations, has determined that she is fit and qualified and ruled to recommend her nomination to the plenary for the consent of this body. Our nominee is no stranger to many members of the Commission. She is a friend and a dear colleague who represented the people of the 2nd District of Davao City for 3 consecutive terms from 2010 to 2019 and was elected by her peers to be their Assistant Majority Floor Leader and Deputy Speaker. She is the loving wife of Isabela Governor, 4th-term representative and former Majority Floor Leader of this body, Governor Rodito Albano. Her life of public service is a confluence of her being exposed to the high-profile responsibilities of her father, former Assemblyman of the Batasan Pambansa and member of the House of Representatives, Congressman Manuel Nonoy Garcia, and the quiet sacrifice of her dutiful, selfless mother, Erlinda de Hoya. An achiever all her life, she graduated with 2nd honors from Ateneo de Manila College of Law, became the first female president of their student government, and placed 3rd in the 1990 bar examinations. She sharpened her legal acumen as an associate of the Ponce Enrile, Cayetano, Reyes, and Manalastas Law Office under the mentorship of former Senator Rene Compañero Cayetano. She later served as a legal assistant at the Office of the Chief Presidential Legal Counsel, as an executive director and assistant secretary of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and then as chief of staff in the office of Senator Mar Rojas. Prior to her nomination, she was a member of the board of directors of Davao City International Airport Authority as one of the private sector representatives. Noting such extensive work experience both in the government and in the private sector, as well as her personal credentials and achievements demonstrating her competence, high standard of leadership, and dedication to service, I hereby endorse our nominee to become the first female ambassador of the Philippines to Japan. Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, it is my distinct privilege to recommend that this body give its consent on the nomination of Mylene de Hoya Garcia Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary and emoluments of Chief of Mission Class 1. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Our distinguished Vice Chairman of this Committee on Commission on Appointments, Congressman Guico, is recognized.
Mr. Chair, and my esteemed colleagues of this body, it is my great pride and privilege to second the motion on the recommendation of the Committee on Foreign Affairs that the Commission gives its consent to the nomination of Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary and emoluments of the Chief of Mission Class 1. Needless to say, our nominee epitomizes the perfect combination of beauty and brains. No wonder why she easily captured the heart of the incumbent provincial governor of Isabela, Rodolfo Rodito Albano III, my ever brutally handsome and dashing friend, a prominent member of the majority floor leader of this august body from 2016 to 2019. Our nominee has an exemplary academic records, a consistent honor student, a scholar, and distinguished herself as number 3 bar top notchers with a rating of 88.95% in the 1990 Philippine bar examinations. Mylene, as she is fondly called by colleagues, family, and friends, is described as an upright, highly principled cultured and articulate individual. All this characterization befit someone who can truly represent our country to a host where uprightness and principle are highly regarded. An extensive public service experience of our nominee, ranging her practice of law to her stint in various executive department offices and her 3 consecutive terms as representative of the 2nd District of Davao City, no doubt on her skills and competence to take on this strategic and historic ambassadorial post. Our nominee will distinguish herself as the first female ambassador of the Philippines to Japan. Mr. Chairman and distinguished colleagues, it is for these reasons and for that I second the recommendation that the Commission give its consent to the nomination of Atty. Mylene Garcia-Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary and emoluments of a Chief of Mission Class 1. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, sir. Distinguished Senate President Pro Tem and our colleague from Antique, Senator Lauren Legard is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of the Commission on Appointments, today I have the distinct honor of introducing to you our nominee, Ambassador Designate of the Philippines to Japan, Mylene Garcia-Albano. It is a privilege to have known a woman who sets a high standard in leadership, one who is armed with a discipline and determination to get things done. This is evident in her journey even before she began her legal career. Neither marriage nor marital duties to her spouse, a friend of all of us, the incumbent provincial governor of Isabela, Rodolfo T. Albano III, proved to be distractions in her pursuit of academic and leadership excellence then. She was a consistent Dean's Lister and graduated salutatorian at the Ateneo de Manila University School of Law. At the same distinguished law school, she earned the distinction of being the first female student council president. Ambassador Mylene Garcia-Albano ranked 3rd in the 1990 bar examinations. Shortly thereafter, she worked as an associate at the Ponce Enrile Cayetano, Reyes and Manalastas Law Office. Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano also served in the executive branch as Assistant Secretary at the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. She later joined the legislature and served in Congress as representative of the 2nd District of Davao for 3 terms, following the footsteps of her late father, former Congressman Manuel Nonoy Garcia, whom I knew when I was very new in politics in the party Lakas when I was a young senator. Her youngest brother, Congressman Vincent Garcia, is the incumbent representative of the same district in Davao City. Mylene's sense of duty and her eagerness to execute enormous tasks are not alien to her. She is consistently reliable. Her track record and dedication to public service will reaffirm the already strong bilateral relations between our country and Japan. Her compassion in serving the people first is a central tenet in ensuring the safety and well-being of the over 285,739 Filipinos living in Japan. Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, it is therefore a privilege and an honor to join the sponsor in moving for the confirmation of the nomination of, I must confess, a high school classmate and a group mate way back when, and a colleague in government, Mylene J. Garcia-Albano, as the ambassador of the Philippines to Japan. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Representative Johnny Pimentel of the province of Surigao del Sur is recognized.
Mr. Chair, the Honorable Mylene Garcia-Albano is a product of 2 families with strong roots to the legal profession. Her maternal great-grandfather, Batangueño, former Supreme Court Justice Mariano H. De Hoya, was a government pensionado who graduated from Indiana University and Yale Law School in the early 1900s, who became a top legal practitioner before and after the war. And so was her maternal grandfather, Attorney Mariano R. De Hoya Jr. Attorney Mylene's grandfather was a lawyer and former Davao City Mayor Leon Garcia. And her father was former Congressman, whom we all know, Manuel Nonoy Garcia, who was the Deputy Justice Minister of former Justice Minister Estelito Mendoza in the 1980s. With his strong legal lineage, a young Mylene was educated at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. for her undergraduate ABD degree in political science, after which she finished her law studies at the Ateneo de Manila with second honors and was the student council president during her senior year. No small feat for this school of blue-blooded, erstwhile male-dominated future lawyers. Jumping off from law school, she placed third in the 1990 bar examinations, which the distinguished senior member of the Senate minority, Senator Coco Pimentel, topped. Not one to rest on her academic laurels and good name, Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano embarked on creating her own reputation, slowly and patiently, as she practiced law at the distinguished offices of the Ponce Enrile and Cayetano Law Office and the Villarreal Law Office before deciding to join the government. She climbed the long ladder of government service in the executive and legislative branches of government, with positions in the Presidential Legal Counsel's Office of President Fidel Ramos, the DTI, DNR, and the Senate Majority Floor Leader, Senator Mar Rojas' office. Her next position was in Congress, where she served for 3 terms, where she chaired the Committee on Constitutional Amendments and was Deputy Speaker during her 3rd term. Through all these positions in government, Attorney Mylene Albano has served well with utmost tact, intelligence, diplomacy, and grace. It might be argued that other than her spouse, my good friend, former Congressman and now Governor Rudito Albano, a former majority leader of our August Commission on Appointments, her one ardent supporter who has always believed in her capabilities has been former President Rodrigo Duterte, who worked with the Garcia family of Davao City for the betterment of their city mates. From Attorney Garcia-Albano's father, Manuel Nonoy Garcia, to our colleague in Congress, Vince Garcia, to Attorney Mylene Albano, as these respected, hardworking legislators represented Davao City and its 2nd District through 13 congressional or parliamentary terms dating back to 1978. Much as we have seen Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano perform at the highest level in her different positions in government, I wholeheartedly believe that she will be a strong representative and conduit of the Filipino people to the land of the rising sun, Japan, one of our most important trading partners. Mr. Chair, I therefore have the honor and privilege to second the motion for the confirmation of Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano as Philippine Ambassador to Japan. So moved, Mr. Chair.
Distinguished colleague from the great province of Cavite, Congresswoman Lani Mercado Revilla is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and fellow CA members. Good afternoon. Described as upright, highly principled, cultured, and articulate, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary Mylene Garcia-Albano is undoubtedly the right woman to serve as our country's top diplomat and representative to the Empire of Japan our nation's closest friend and respected partner. Having been elected as Davao City's 2nd District Representatives for 3 consecutive terms during the 15th, 16th, and 17th Congress, I can vividly remember that Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano rightly served as our Assistant Majority Leader in the 15th Congress and Chairperson of the Committee on Constitutional Amendments in the 16th Congress. She rose to the position of Deputy Speaker in the 17th Congress. Her illustrious record in public service can speak for itself. Having been known for her professionalism, high standard of leadership, efficiency, integrity, and dedication, it is just right that we affirm her nomination and will justly earn her the historic distinction of being the first female ambassador of the Philippines to Japan. For 66 years and counting, the strong and ironclad friendship between Japan and the Philippines reaped mutual benefits and reached historic milestones. Year after year, our peoples and bilateral relationships celebrate our shared history. Moreover, we affirm our trust and mutual understanding as well as solidarity and committee. I second the motion as we nominate Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano as our People's Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary Chief of Mission Class 1 to our embassy in Tokyo. Ambassador Mylene, you have our confidence and full backing as you fulfill your mission as our country's top envoy to the land of the rising sun and work for the protection and prosperity of our overseas Filipinos and of children with Filipino heritage. And may this ever blossoming friendship and partnership never wither. Sama-sama, tulong-tulong para sa ating minamahal na bayan. God bless all the works of your hands. God bless the Philippines.
May we now recognize Representative J.G. Romualdo, please?
Mr. Chair, distinguished members of the Commission on Appointments, Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano comes from a Davao City family that with deep roots in public service. Her great-grandfather, Tomas Monteverde, migrated to Davao late in the Spanish era and became Davao Municipal Gobernadorcillo during the Spanish times and Davao Municipal President during the early American era. Her grandfather, Leon Garcia, migrated to Davao as a young lawyer, attracted by the growing agricultural interest of Japanese abaca planters. Attorney Mylene's father, the late lawyer Manuel Monteverde Garcia, was a top-notch, respected national legislator, having sat as an interim Batasang Pambansa Assemblyman, a member of the Parliament at the regular Batasang Pambansa, and three-termer member of Congress from 1992 to 2001. Manuel, or Nonoy, was the minority floor leader of the Commission on Appointments during the last term from 1998 to 2001. After a stellar stint at the Ateneo College of Law, where Attorney Mylene became the first ever lady president of the school's student council and a second honors graduate. She finished third place in the 1990 bar examinations. She could have pursued lucrative career as a private law practitioner, but she chose to eventually go into public service, working her way up from being an executive assistant at the Department of Trade and Industry to legal assistant at the Office of the Presidential Legal Counsel under Attorney Renato L. Cayetano, to Assistant Secretary for Local Government Affairs, and subsequently for Legal Affairs at the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Then she became the Chief of Staff of Senate Majority Floor Leader Senator Mar Rojas. She was then elected to Congress representing the 2nd District of Davao City for 3 successive terms, the 15th, 16th, and 17th Congresses. And on her last term, she was elected as Deputy Speaker from 2016 to 2019. In Congress, the undersigned had the opportunity to interact with her on several occasions on policy issues and legislative concerns when I was a member of the Commission Appointments on my last term from 2004 to 2007, when we have committee meetings and plenary sessions here at the Senate. She's a very cordial, intelligent, refined, respectable person in our conversations in the House of the Senate and in Congress, where she was a colleague of my father, the late Congressman Pedro Palarca Romualdo, during the 15th Congress. Davao City, the third biggest trade center in our country, had its beginnings as a boomtown from the hard work of Japanese farmers a century ago. It is with a deep sense of pride for us to have the first woman ambassador of the Philippines to Japan, the person of Honorable Mylene Garcia-Albano, who hails from Davao City. She understands the high esteem and deep value of the Japanese government and its people to the Philippines. She respected the contributions of the innovative Japanese people that turned Davao into a boom municipality then, and how Davao has evolved now with a very rich culture and heritage. It is therefore my honor to strongly recommend our unqualified support, and second, to Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano to become our next ambassador to Japan.
Our distinguished colleague from the province of Iloilo, Congressman First Biron, is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, my dear colleagues of the Commission on Appointments, Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano is the first female nominee whose appointment is to be confirmed since we first assembled. And once appointed, she shall be the first female ambassador to of the Philippines to Japan. In this milestone, I am therefore eager to express my full support to the confirmation of the ad interim appointment of Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan. Attorney Garcia-Albano excelled all her life. She took up law in Ateneo de Manila University School of Law, where she was a consistent dean's lister. She was dubbed the first female president of the student government, graduated with second honors, and thereafter ranked third place in the 1990 Philippine bar examinations, garnering an impressive grade of 100% in remedial law. Notably, she was the only woman among the top 10 bar top-notchers in her time. Beyond academic excellence, she has a natural proclivity to leadership. In recognition thereof, she was awarded the Evelio Javier Leadership Award in law school. She was distinguished for her work in both public and private sectors. Through her experience working in the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, under prominent politicians, and in reputable law offices, she has honed herself in the field of law, human affairs, management, and legislation, which I believe are skills that are useful in the performance of ambassadorial functions. She reportedly gave up pilates when she joined politics and served as representative of the 2nd District of Davao City for 3 consecutive terms during the 15th, 16th, and 17th Congresses. Nevertheless, I am certain that she will still be flexible enough to maneuver the processes and operations of the Philippine Embassy in Japan. A woman of substance to the core, Attorney Garcia-Albano is without doubt competent to be Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan. With a feminine touch, she can efficiently discharge the duties of an ambassador, work for peace, support prosperity, and extend aid and protection of the state to Filipino citizens, travelers, visitors, and residents alike in Japan. I truly believe that the representation of the state in the shape of a woman, such as Attorney Garcia-Albano, will be a successful feat in a country dominated by men. I therefore second the confirmation of the ad interim appointment of Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Rodante Marcoleta.
Sir President, distinguished colleagues, the good diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Japan has resulted in extensive work in development cooperation in a broad range of areas, including infrastructure, energy, maritime security, disaster management, agriculture, health, education, and peace and development in Mindanao. By far, Japan has been and continues to be one of the biggest supporters of the country and with such President, the forging of even stronger ties in the face of the current global socio-political climate cannot be overemphasized. Mr. President, sending an ambassador to Japan in the person of Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano is a testament to the ever-growing relations between our two countries. Mylene Garcia-Albano is a double-bred provinciana and daughter of the late Congressman Manuel Nonoy Garcia and Erlinda de Hoya. At an early age, Mylene already learned and practiced how to be of service to others and always ready to be counted when things get rough. A consistent honor student since grade school, she and her cousins were sent to Manila and lived as internas while completing their high school. She went to the United States to finish her college education. Choosing to follow her father's footsteps, Mylene went to law school. She was third placer in 1990 bar examinations and became pride of Ateneo de Manila University, or the law school, for being the only female who landed in the top 10 for that year. She was also the first female student ever elected president of her school's student government. After a fulfilling private practice and short stint in several government agencies, Mylene ran for Congress, representing the 2nd District of Davao City. I was fortunate to have worked with her, Sir President, during the 15th and 17th Congress. Again, she was the first woman ever to serve her district in that capacity. Mr. President, I will venture to say, without fear of contradiction, after having survived 34 years of marriage, and more than that, Mr. President, after taming and domesticating her naughty, restless, flamboyant, rambunctious, exuberant governor of Isabela, I think that is already a feat in itself, Mr. President. A solid testimony that Mylene Albano Garcia has already mastered the intricate art of diplomacy. Having said that, Mr. President, I will lend this voice to second the motion of Mylene Albano Garcia's being ambassador to Japan. Salamat po, Mr. President.
Salamat po, Congressman Marcoleta. The distinguished gentleman from the great province of Bataan is recognized, Congressman Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. I would like to make a brief but strong manifestation and to second the confirmation of Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano as the ambassador of our republic to Japan. Attorney Mylene hails from the better Garcia clan of Davao. I would concede to that, and that is probably and most likely true. But Mr. Chair, what is without question, and everyone would probably agree, is that Attorney Mylene is the better half of her husband, Governor Rodito Albano, our dear friend. Attorney Garcia-Albano's exceptional academic and track record have distinguished her above others. She has been consistently recommended for many accomplishments, starting off with her illustrious career by ranking third in the 1990 Philippine Bar. Through many years of public service, including numerous terms as the 2nd District Representative of Davao, and also in various capacities, she has gained recognition for her leadership and professionalism. It is with great honor that I recommend that this body gives its consent to the nomination of Attorney Mylene Garcia-Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan, where she will be the first Filipina to assume the post. I truly believe that Ambassador Mylene Garcia-Albano will represent our country exceptionally and will passionately work and commit to further strengthen Philippine-Japan ties. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleague from Taguig and Pateros, Senator Alan Cayetano is recognized.
After listening to the qualifications, the experience of our nominee, everyone is convinced that she's the right person for the job. The relationship of Japan and the Philippines can be a roadmap, the histories of the two countries, no? So for me today, it's also a roadmap because I started out with a relationship as a brother kay Governor Albano. Then he turned out as an enemy for a few months. But through his wife, we are now friends again and hopefully on the road to recovery. I will not disagree with the Vice Chairperson out of parliamentary courtesy and interparliamentary courtesy when he called the governor brutally handsome. I will just say that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Okay. But having said that, my father, Senator Rene Compañero Cayetano, has always found beauty in diligence, hard work, creativity. The Ambassador Mylene, my father was always proud of her. And if he was here today as a senator, I'm sure he would say that he's proud of you, Ambassador to be Albano. So in behalf of the minority, we also endorse her confirmation. Thank you, Mr. Senate President. And
Maraming
Mr. Chair.
salamat. Maraming salamat.
Mr. Chair, on the part of the majority, we support the nomination of Ms. Mylene Garcia-Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary and emoluments of a Chief of Mission. I will, pipigilan ko na lang po ang sarili ko to say things about Rod, but all I can say is the Philippines is in good hands with Ambassador Mylene. Maraming salamat and I so move, Mr. Chair.
Yes, if I may also give just a few short remarks. I've known Mylene for a very long time because, first of all, I had the honor and privilege to serve with her father in the 11th Congress, together with Alan Cayetano, Congressman J.J. Romualdo, and Senator Amy Marcos. We were all members of the 11th Congress. And then with your brother, Vince Garcia, who will never, to this day, never forget to send me jokes on text message. And you're considered, the family, gentlemen and ladies, are considered as royalty in Davao, as one of the hijos de Davao. And because of that, she followed in an illustrious career as a three-term congresswoman of a district in Davao. And what is the gain of the foreign affairs as an ambassador is actually a loss, if you ask me, for the executive department, because I really think that she would have been a great secretary of cabinet rank. Sayang, but we're sending her to Japan, which is an equally important mission, as already mentioned by my colleagues, Senator Cayetano and the other members. Your appointment to that post, Madam, is very historic. You're the first woman ambassador to Japan. That will be in the history books of this nation. And at the same time, you bring to the table a brilliant mind, top of her class, and also a bar top notcher. And she also has a heart for the people. It's a combination of EQ and IQ. Very difficult to find in people. Some people have a lot of IQ, no EQ. Some people have a lot of EQ, very little IQ. This is a perfect combination. Yes, sabi ko sayang, magaling sana tong cabinet secretary. But I'm sure as ambassador to Japan, you will be a great mother to our OFWs there. I'm sure they're looking forward to having a mother this time to take care of the tens of thousands of OFWs in Japan. But my word of advice, Ambassador, when you give your credentials to the Emperor, because that is what happens when the ambassadors are appointed to Japan, make sure you watch your husband very intently. Keep him away from the cherry blossoms and the koi gardens, the koi ponds. And that is a joke that only us legislators know. But also, I'd like to congratulate your husband because he's a dear friend, member of the Northern Bloc, as well as a classmate of the 11th Congress. So I'm sure you're in good hands whenever you visit, when we visit Japan and all our OFWs there will be in need of your assistance. Ambassador Mylene will be an extraordinary ambassador. So with that, without further ado, there being no objection to the appointment or nomination of Mylene Garcia-Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary emoluments of Chief of Mission Class 1, we hereby give the consent. Congratulations po.